Going live as usual, covering all the Disney Plus shows. It's the Superhero Spoiler Show. I'm your host, Jesse's Brick Galaxy. I've got Mel, Iceberg Bricks, Lego Master Season 1.
Yeah, what's going on?
Thanks for being here. I was just saying it's so busy in the Lego community, in the YouTube world, and the Lego convention world. So thanks for being here.
No doubt, man.
Yeah, man.
Larry, the legend.
Larry.
Thanks for being here, taking time out from all other duties as a person and a family man.
Life.
Life happens.
Lego life. Is there such a thing?
Lego life happens. So, yeah, thanks, guys. I could not do this ever alone. I just am not the YouTuber that talks to the chat and keeps a conversation with myself. So we have kind of two things on the docket, if you will. I've got the What If Marvel Lego set here.
Yeah.
It is the Hydra Stomper, I'm just calling it. Captain Carter is in there. And that is super relevant with episode 1. So, spoiler alert, if you have not seen What If, I don't know why you're here, because this is a spoiler show.
Nice.
Go to a different universe for you where they're doing something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
So in this universe, we're gonna build. I'm gonna try to keep notes and keep the conversation going on the very awesome animated show from Disney / Marvel Studios, and it is episode 1, titled Captain Carter. What if you got to put what if in front? What if Captain Carter were the first Avenger? I kind of like how it's not just what if Captain Carter was Captain America / they're like, well, Captain America was the first Avenger, so what if Peggy Carter was put in that role with just the tiniest what does the Watcher call it? I mean, it's not like a Nexus event, but it's
just a switch up, just a change of a decision,
Yeah.
Little choice can make.
Before you even get into it, like let's talk about like I'm a graphic arts person, right? I went to school for it. Okay. Let's talk about like the craftsmanship of this story, man. Like it looks so much old timey, like Dick Tracy, but it's like in the modern day feel, like with the modern day technology today. So it looks like yesteryear, with all the style. It looks like one of them old cartoons, but with today's technology.
Definitely.
Yeah, I noticed it was very 2D, but they use lighting in such a way that it really. I mean, the animation was great. I thought it was outstanding. I guess the only gripe I had. Oh, that's so cool. Nice.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said lighting.
Yeah.
So you see animated shows and it's 2D, right? It's like South Park is paper cutouts, literally like walking around. And,
right.
Comic books are flat, 2-dimensional, flat panels that come to life with the storytelling.
And
now we have cinematic animation, which is the flipping of those photos really fast. But the way they are doing that with the lighting makes it 3-dimensional. And we can compare it to several things, like Mel says, kind of old timey. It is Disney also, so they kind of look like princess and princesses a little bit,
right?
With the big eyes.
Yeah.
And it also looks like a Star Wars animated show called Rebels.
Okay. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah, they definitely set a tone for that time period. The way that they, saturated a lot of the colors with that that's those sepia tones to make it look a little older. But yeah, I specifically had noted when she first goes on her first mission and she jumps down in front of the trucks and the motorcycles and she starts battling, and you have the light from the explosions and the light from the headlights that really just added another layer to that to make it very 3D-ish without making it like, Polar Express or something that didn't look right.
Yeah, it's not that at all. Yeah.
Well done for MCU's first venture into animation.
Yeah, indeed. That's
for MCU or Marvel Studios, I guess we should say, because we have old, 90s X-Men and Spider-Mans, and there are other animated Marvel shows, but this is next level, going in, diving in, both giving DC a run for their money, because again, that was two things DC had going. Was Marvel was doing the MCU right, and animated shows with the dark twist were really kind of shining for DC.
Right.
A decent content coming from the CW, Flash, Arrowverse.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the graphics on this here. It really popped out for me.
Nice. Yeah, so they start the logo with, always some sort of new little flavor. And Marvel Studios goes by and it does like this paint stroke thing, like a watercolor, saturation. There, you were really describing it well earlier with the color tones. And we get a little intro from the Watcher. The Watcher makes a little speech about time and
Jeffrey.
What's that?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. The guy from Westworld.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Now, that's a show I really want to watch, but I haven't. I mean, I remember him from Hunger Games.
Yeah, Hunger Games.
Okay. Hunger Games. Yep. He really, it definitely relates with Westworld though, because there's androids in there and stuff. He does have like a storytelling kind of character in Westworld.
He played the great Muddy Waters at Cadillac Records. It was great. It was great. Great Muddy Waters. He did. If you haven't seen Cadillac Records, watch it.
So unlike my previous shows, I don't have any other content to go to right now, but thanks for bringing up the voice acting, Mel.
Yes.
Yeah, we get Jeffrey doing an excellent speech intro, kind of Twilight Zone-y, and describing where Loki left off with the multiverse possibilities, and they do this kind of crack. They show a panel, if you will, and of animation, and glass prism cracks and fractures into the same picture but different possibilities.
Did you notice when they did that and they took, Peggy Carter's triangle and it starts coming at the screen, and then that breaks into many more variations? I didn't catch that until the second time I watched it. It's like, so each, because he's describing it as a prism, and you get her one panel, and then it breaks into a multitude of possibilities.
Right. And Mel was trying to hint at this earlier. So, before we delve into the storyline of this, what is the possibility of, I would like to think, this, I forget how many episodes we're going to get. I think it's going to be close to a dozen episodes because it's animated, of what if. Is there going to be a story arc? They started with the first Avenger. They spoilers, hate to jump ahead, but the end kind of with, the Fury starting the Avengers and whatnot. So Oh, and I shouldn't say whatnot. Doc's not here.
No, but Ivan is here. Hi, Ivan.
Ivan.
Ivan, thanks for being here. We're breaking it down, starting at the top, and
that's what I think, though, man. I think you know, I think they go on to another story. Like they'll put this on pause for a bit and then go on to another story. That's why you got the other set here. Like, I mean, we only got it's only like 2 what if sets, right? And so I think that's what it's about. I think they'll probably go on to, you know, the Tony Stark story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of the Starks, man, I'll let you tell your story, boy. But I'm a little bit peeved, and I tell you why. So when you get on it, so.
No, go on. This is kind of a new type of show.
Cuss on the show. Can you cuss on the show? I don't think you cuss on the show, right? You cuss.
Like, don't be like super foul, but
like shit, like, you know, like shit. Like I think Tony
We're all
Stark.
adults here. You're allowed an S.
Tony Stark's dad is a piece of shit in this universe.
Howard Stark.
Howard Stark, because the Tesseract, you know, the Tesseract stone, right? You can go into time and all that stuff and go in it. So my man gets this thing. He goes into time and steals his son's technology and comes back, and that's how you get the Hydra Stomper.
Ooh.
You didn't pick up on that?
Oh, you think
because he powered that thing with the Tesseract.
He powered it with the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And he's an inventor, though, so I like it is weird. Yeah, like.
But that was his son's technology. That wasn't his.
Yeah. So in the MCU original timeline, we're gonna need like Marvel.
We need like a whiteboard with some.
Is any of the Starks honest? Like, is any of them honest? Like, they always backstab.
But I mean, legitimately, Tony Stark got a lot of those ideas from the hidden thing in the picture from his dad. So in this timeline, they're just kind of jumping forward. It does move quite fast in this episode. And if it's divisive, fine. I loved seeing another Iron Man Mach 1 or Mach 0, if you want.
Right.
So I mean, that's a great point, because in Iron Man 2, Howard, you know, when he's watching the old films and he finally gets to the one where Howard's actually talking to Tony and he's like, I'm limited by the technology of my time. So now we have the Tesseract in his possession. So now he's not limited. And it just so happens, and maybe it just could be, you know, in their genes, in their story, in their whatever, their arc, that they have the idea of an Iron Man, of a suit around a person. So
John Ivan, that's what we're building. Me and Iceberg have the set. But yeah, you know, like they have so many parallels in this episode to Captain America, but they fast forward a few things. So the Tesseract story, where isn't that an episode? Winter Soldier, like some of it overlaps, I think, with Winter Soldier's storyline. And I didn't rewatch. I should have, or should go back and watch. This show is definitely going to make me want to watch the whole timeline over.
Yeah, right.
So I'm familiar enough with the first Avenger, but maybe it would have been good to watch Winter Soldier also. But where he gets the Tesseract. So I mean, Captain America didn't. Was that in the first Avenger story? Where the Red Skull goes to that door and it is, isn't it?
Yeah, so he opens up the sculpture, the relief of the World Tree, and he pulls the Tesseract out of it, which they duplicate in this. But then Captain Carter gets it from Zola. And I love how he swears in German, and in the subtitles they just put
there you go, Mel. Scheiße.
And so then Hydra never has it in their possession to start creating the weapons like they did in the first Avenger. So that's a big deviation from that particular movie.
Okay.
Then Red Skull gets it back, after because Howard Stark basically just puts it right into the
Hydra
Stomper suit.
Mm-hmm.
Gets it back, and I just think it was so funny that they just try and jumpstart the Hydra Stomper with just some regular juice, and it doesn't
didn't last long.
But then he just takes it a different direction, and instead of building weapons, he wants to open this portal. Who lets this creature out, and the creature is a character from the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesse, do you have that up on who that might be?
Well, there's theories about this tentacle creature, and
it originated, and I can't even pronounce the name.
Well, it has ties to Doctor Strange. I think
yes,
it's important, right?
Okay.
I don't know the name right now, but it has ties to Doctor Strange, and a lot of this multiverse stuff is leading into the multiverse of madness. So people are definitely tying this Hydra monster, which also, Hydra's logo is the octopus tentacles and the skull. So it could just be, it's useful either way, both ways, if you will. But what a weird demise for the Red Skull.
Yeah, just right instant. Just
just wish.
Big dummy.
So crazy. Now, who goes to? I want to say more. It's not Morag. It's the where the Soul Stone is. Who now gets to be the guardian of the Soul Stone?
Well, we didn't like it's in true Disney fashion. You see a tentacle thing scrunch him, but you don't see guts and everything go all over the place. Could have held him.
Although they do kind of react like ew.
Yeah, there is that, and there was another. Yeah.
So you kind of fast forward just about everything. So your girl gets in she gets into the machine that alters her whole physical being, right? Instead of Steve Rogers, right? Because she said she wanted to stay in the room. She stops the bomber, right? And so she hops in, right? After Rogers gets shot and he's not unable to get inside the machine, she jumps in the machine, and now her body, she's like the Hulk all of a sudden, right? She looked like Mrs. Trunchbull. She looked like Mrs. Trunchbull off of what was that movie? Matilda. So she's probably like a big oversized Miss Trunchbull off of Matilda, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then they proceed, and this is funny. Like with Marvel, this is funny. But I had to do some digging because my brother was a huge comic fan, and he's probably like 50, 51 right now. And so he was a big, huge comic fan. He had a whole bunch of comics. He left all his comics behind, right? And so I was actually left with all his comics when he left. And so there was a comic, my friend, and it came out in 1976 called Captain Britain.
Yes.
Okay.
Captain Britain in 1967. And I'm trying to pull it up, but it is telling the basic same story that we see. He had a shield just like Captain America.
Really?
He had the Union Jack Britain flag.
If you can see.
Mask.
Captain Britain.
I was a big Excalibur fan, so I love me some Captain Britain.
And this is Marvel. So it's funny how they just reinvent certain characters, right? So you come up with a what if, and you change this one here to a female, which is Peggy Carter happens to be from the UK. So you throw a shield on her, and you got this guy all over again. Shame on you, Marvel. Shame on you. I smelled it coming. I smelled it. That's why. And I was telling Jesse earlier today. I said, dude, I've seen this before. I'm trying to tell you. He's nah. I'm like, nah. I'm telling you, I've seen this before. And I dropped the name, and he was like, oh. You might be right.
Captain Britain. Well, they don't call her Captain Britain. They call her Captain
they don't
Carter.
call her
It's
Captain
more
Britain.
of a rank. Let's say hi to a couple more people in the chat. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Brett's Builds is here. Hello, hello. And Southern Soul Paradise.
Hey. What's up, Brett's from across the pond?
So, yeah, what Brett could tune in about maybe some Britain stuff. But yeah, thanks for jumping back to the beginning of the storyline, Mel. Before they do that story, they do a real quick animatic retelling of Captain America, and our wonderful voice narrator, the Watcher, says, but in another universe, a single decision creates a whole new hero.
Right.
And it's worded really well. And he says the same thing at the end: a new history, a new hero, but he can't intervene. It's like against the Watcher race to intervene with the actions or alter the timeline. But I think there was a Watcher, and it's probably the Watcher we're following. There's a couple of different ones that maybe breaks that rule. So we'll see if anything happens way later. First, they got to introduce this character to the general public, and they did an excellent job with this. This show telling a familiar story with the decision of Agent Carter to stay in the room, and that was it. Like all of a sudden, splintered timeline. That was our Nexus event. If you're a Loki watcher, and things will not be the same because. The Hydra agent explodes the room before the activation, and Steve gets out of the chamber, gets shot. Then Peggy Carter takes action, and just like she does in I think in Agent Carter, I don't know, or in Captain America, where she shoots the driver in the car.
Right, she gets like high speed chase to go get him.
So many similarities of the shot angles here that we'll try to speak of.
I really love that they did that so very often.
Did you catch that one?
Even throughout, it's like, okay, so you have the story is the same up until the moment, and then even in the process of her conversion and all that. But then even later, when they bust through the doors and she's behind the shield with the gun and she's shooting just like Steve Rogers did when he's with the Howling Commandos, and they're going after Hydra. That was so awesome that they did that.
Shows a fluidity of the universe and multiverses where there is some destiny of things happening. And part of that is also when the chamber activates, the shots going into the arms and the light, and Howard Stark lowering his glasses, and it was fabulous. So all the callbacks to the original footage and cinematography. So that goes really fast, and there's not a car chase scene like in the other one, but they have her getting poked with needles by the nurses, and they're sampling her blood, and they take quite a bit.
Who are they making? Who's the second super soldier? Who are they making?
So we know they saved some of Steve's blood, but man, they have some of this. And Colonel Flynn, I believe it is kind of
he's not really receptive, is he?
No, he's kind of a jerk.
He's what was it like 1930s? It was 1930s, right?
1943. I think it was 43.
43. So he was 1943. That's what he was. He was 1943.
Yes.
Very, very much of a bigot, just, going off, just, like 1943, saying that, women can't be soldiers and this and that. And he's like really disappointed.
I love that she gives it back to him when she tells him, "You're lucky to be in the room."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he's yeah, that comes up a little bit later. We're jumping around. It's good though. Another callback scene. I just wanted to find the guy's name. Colonel John Flynn is played by Bradley Whitford.
Yes.
Another good choice, I think, for this colonel. Some of the MCU stars come back. Some of them get voiced by other people, and we'll try to spoil that and let you guys know what's going on. So more callbacks happen in this episode where Peggy's punching the bag, doing the punch bag scene, and there's definitely Steve did that, and knocking the bag right off its post. She also throws the weights around like a shield.
Yeah.
And she kick flips it up like.
Oh right. Yep, the little kick flip trick.
Yep.
Skateboard trick.
Now, and I don't know if you guys noticed, she uses her shield differently than Steve Rogers did in a lot of ways. And you may want to go back and just watch all of her shield action. She uses it differently. A lot of the ways are the same, but a lot of ways, there was one particular scene where she makes it flip very rapidly up and then just kind of sticks her arms out and grabs it. And granted, it's animation, so you can kind of do a lot more, but she uses it a lot more like I don't know, like a blunt instrument almost, where she's just clobbering guys with that thing, and not so much of the. Yes, she does a lot of the bouncing off and the ricocheting action that it does, but she also does it a lot, just taking it and just clobbering guys.
Yeah, she does the superhero landing.
She had a couple of Hydra guys in the chokey, right? She had a couple of some Chinese band, Mrs. Trunchbull, all over.
Peggy murdered a lot of guys. That
in the chokey, I'm trying to tell you. Yep.
She got up there when she was doing the battling the aerial assault, and she's jumping through the airplanes. I'm like, she's trying to kill a lot of people.
Killing Nazis, so
they're not. It's okay for Disney if they're Nazis.
So speaking of Nazis, the head Hydra agent, Red Skull, has another callback scene to MCU. The limo pulls up, and the emblem with the Hydra skull and the octopus arms. Man, it was just like, makes me want to watch the show all over again, and the original content.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, like we were talking about earlier, this wooden carved out tree is in Tonsberg, Norway, and that has ties to New Asgard. It's also where Thor sets up shop with the refugee Asgardians.
Yeah.
And who knows what else. So interesting. Just a little, they try to keep some of it, so it's not completely all new, or it's fodder for us geeks. Anyway, the Tesseract story is explained in a war room, and like you said, the colonel says you're lucky to be in the room, the Peggy. Yep. But Stark. So Stark, says, we can. I don't know. They grab a drink or something, and he prepares her costume and shield, like fast tracks that.
Yep.
And her use of the shield really really good. And part of like what Larry's saying is different. Could be because it's animated and maybe easier to show some really crazy movements with that. I'm not sure.
I did think there's a tiny bit of a plot hole with that, though, because in the first Avenger, the shield was a significant part of his act originally.
All right.
So he has this prop that he ends up using, and he ends up becoming part of what he's doing and how he fights. Well, in this one, he just gives her a shield,
Right.
Yeah.
and you don't get that great scene where Steve is looking at all these different shields and the different designs and all this, and he's like, "Oh, what's this one?" And he's like, "Oh no, that's special. You don't know." He's like, "Oh, I kind of like it." He's like, "Great. Well, there's all the vibranium we have here. Have it. Here's a shield." So
and then he shows it off to Peggy.
Okay, so why does the shield all of a sudden they present it to Captain Carter, and she's like, "Okay." Although I think they kind of filled that hole with the line where she's like, "Where have you been all my life?" After she uses it on that first attack. I was like,
all
right.
Yeah, she's kind of talking to herself. So in this next scene, she's fighting all these Germans or Nazis, and she's perched up on the Brandenburg Gate statue as the convoy of soldiers comes towards her, and getting really big Wonder Woman vibes right now.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman has that scene where she's standing on the statue and she uses a shield.
True. And then by the end she's got a sword too, so it's very Wonder Woman.
And yeah, by the end she's got a sword too. But boy, yeah, right. We hear right away when she throws that shield, the vibranium sound effect.
Yeah.
It's it's going down. Brilliant action sequence, taking out the whole convoy, like you said earlier, with the lighting in front of the headlights of one of the vehicles she stops, and taking down some of the motorcycles, throwing them around and kicking them all kinds of crazy directions that it would be tough to do in live action. But she stops that convoy, sees what's the professor's Ivan? No, what's
Zola?
Say it again.
Zola.
Zola. Yeah, Zola is in there. Scheiße. And she takes the Tesseract from him.
I was wondering whether you'd come see me, Fräulein. I will tell you nothing. He told me everything.
She gets all the secrets out of Zola. I can't get his name right. She gives the Tesseract to Howard Stark, just like you can find I'm sure you can find a use for this.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh yeah."
I'm disappointed because he could have used that thing for just about anything. And you stick it in and like my man, what he called it, a flying Buick.
Yeah, it makes a flying Buick.
Yeah, I love how the heads-up display in that was all analog.
Oh yeah,
as opposed to the digital, Iron Man we're used to. That was cool.
Nice catch. I didn't write that down in my notes, but yeah, we get a scene.
That's what I'm here for, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a page full of notes and that wasn't in there. So we get a scene where they're rescuing the Howling Commandos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the 107th Division has Bucky Barnes. So she goes after them. More motorcycle action. I'm a big fan. She grabs this guy off his bike, breaks down the gate, throws the bike, kicks it into the tower. It's like unbelievable action sequences, and we haven't even gotten to that one shot air braid scene yet. Almost there. But the Hydra Stomper comes in. So after the Howling Commandos, as he said, they break through the door, and we get a shot by shot of Steve Rogers versus Peggy Carter shooting, and the Howling Commandos in the background. Mm-hmm. Just brilliant. I love to see somebody do just some side by sides. Maybe New Rockstars already does it.
Yeah.
But,
well, I gotta hand it to Marvel Studios with the exception of his name was Josh Keaton. He did the voice for Skinny Steve Rogers.
Right.
they had like everybody back except for new characters like Bradley Whitford did the new Colonel because the other, the Tommy Lee Jones character was killed. I mean, even the Howling Commandos, all of those guys came back to reprise their roles, which I think that has something to say for the property itself. All these actors are like, yeah, sure, I'll come in for a day and make $1,000 or $2,000 and do a few lines, just to get my name in the credits. But like everybody came back. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson came back, Jeremy, just for their little parts at the end. Even Stanley Tucci did his. I mean, he had like 2 or 3 lines before he was killed in the beginning. It's like these are big name people. So that was great.
Zola, Toby Jones,
mm-hmm.
and Dum Dum Dugan came back. Neil McDonough.
And Daryl Hammond did that Nazi general, and he only had a few lines when Red Skull gets the Tesseract back, and they had basically the same conversation that happened in the first Avenger, but instead of the Red Skull vaporizing all of them, he just shoots him. Then they open the porthole and yada yada yada.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic job, Marvel. Voice acting, supreme. Not all of them, but enough, including Ross Marquand, who does the Red Skull, just perfect.
I have a hard time picturing his face because I know him from Walking Dead.
Yeah,
I was a pretty big Walking Dead fan before, that kind of went off the rails. But I love the actor. But he does such a good job of a voice changed character that I can't picture him like you can do with other people, like
doing that voice.
Seth MacFarlane. Anytime I hear any of the 100 of Seth MacFarlane's voices, I picture Seth MacFarlane.
But right.
And before it was well known for Mark Hamill to do the Joker / Skeletor. Now I can totally see him doing that.
Yeah, see him do it. Yeah.
All right. I want to get into another little tidbit. So the Hydra Stomper takes out the tanks. Barnes is like, I think he's my friend too. And then Peggy and Steve do a little bit of a dance for their action sequence, which is a nice way to call it out. But right after that, like they do in the war movies and the commercials, you hear this jazz music. So this jazz music kicks in, and we get kind of a action montage. And there's different shots of them knocking out Nazi soldiers and Hydra stomping tanks. And then we get to probably my favorite part in the whole show was the air raid scene.
Oh.
I use it in the screenshot. So Peggy's on top of the Hydra Stomper flying towards these other German planes. And it's almost a one take. It's animated. But
yes, I was going to say it's.
You want to describe it? Like, can you describe it, Larry? Because it was just like.
Well, it was so she goes through the one plane. Through
the propeller.
Yeah, she goes through the propeller. She knocks the one plane out. She goes into the other one, and she goes like right for the gunner, who's like shooting right at her, but she's all behind her shield.
Yeah,
and then she takes him out and starts throwing guys out to their death
through the top.
Goes through the plane. Then jumps out from the tail back onto the Hydra Stomper, and you can do that with animation very easily. Unlike in the Loki episode when they do the fight right before they're trying to get onto the Ark ship to get off the whatever the name of the planet was in like episode, it's like the second or third to the last episode when they do the fight through the town. And it was a quote unquote one take deal, even though they broke it up. But with animation, you can totally do that much easier, obviously.
Right.
But it was just so fluid the way she just goes through and just starts wiping out these planes, and she's just jumping into the air after she's done, and then gets picked up by Steve, and it was like a dance. It's great.
Yeah, and they had this jazz music in the background, and it was just
boy.
It was fancy. It was my favorite part, I think. Because when I build this guy, she's gonna go on top. There's
I thought I was like, oh, the thing looks, this is definitely due for some modifications, Jesse.
Yeah.
After watching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I built. It's called a Hydra Stomper, and it's green, right? I built this. I alt-built this recently. I think I might make it a Hydra.
Ooh.
Ooh. In a different universe. So, or rebuild it. Like, I don't know. Anyway, are there any other scenes like that you guys would like? We're Lego builders to build after watching this.
I kind of like the open portal with all the tentacles coming out.
Oh yeah.
That. I mean, that would be epic. You can have one tentacle just all wrapped around the red skull, and
I'll take
Peggy with her shield. She's fighting back this huge. That was impressive. She's fighting back. She's pushing this monster back into the portal. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Steve in the Hydra Stomper with he's blasting it, and he's like cutting it open with that whatever he was using, because he wasn't powered by the Tesseract anymore. So it had that orange, orange flame or whatever.
Yeah. So the Hydra Stomper, we didn't mention. We slightly mentioned it. It's powered by the Tesseract at first, mm-hmm. and it glows blue in his chest, unlike Iron Man's Hulkbusters and whatnot that have the arc reactor, right?
Right.
It's got actually Tesseract power, so very weird. But Red Skull takes the Tesseract, and what do you mean? Did we not cover the winter scene? Well,
the train.
But the train,
yeah. So that'd be another
he says,
one.
You almost ripped my arm off.
I think that one for me is what the Hydra Stomper stopping the train would be great to build out of Lego, because I like to build trains.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
And I haven't done a proper
train with a Hydra Stomper just on the front of it. It pushes the Hydra Stomper around the track.
Yeah. And I haven't done a proper castle in my to a size. So
true.
I'll take a 30,000 step back from that tentacle shot, Larry, and the Hydra castle that they showed animated, just like the with the moonlight or whatever behind it, was pretty amazing looking, and just like the architecture of it. What do you think, Mel? Is there a shot you'd like to build out of Lego?
I would love that. I would love that train scene, on that snowy mountaintop. And that might take a lot, but even like where he busts into the train and then find all the explosives inside. I think that's huge. That's huge for me.
Yeah. So that was different from the story.
Mm-hmm.
They zip line down just like with Bucky Barnes and the Howling Commandos and Steve Rogers. This time, Agent Carter or Captain Carter. They're calling her Captain Carter now for sure. The mountains and the train, beautiful, beautiful backdrop scene. That would be wonderful. But it's rigged to blow. I'm pretty sure that's very different, because in the other one, they're fighting going on, and Barnes goes out the door, and in this one, she saves him from falling and almost rips his arm off. And that was a nice little joke that it becomes the one-armed Winter Soldier. But yeah, so that catches it up where we have Zola imprisoned, and he says, you will get nothing. And then she goes, he told me everything in the war room. And then Peggy gets to say, you're lucky to be in the room, right back to Colonel Flynn. And that brings us to the storming of the castle action, I called it. I just like, sometimes I try to spell out the action sequences in my notes, like this part was great and this part was great. I just said action in my notes. I'm just like, I can't even remember right now. Well, I just remember the castle, and then she goes in there, and she flies at the wall, flips around, kills a few soldiers, and then slams the button, which Howard Stark should have pushed the button, right? He hits the button. The gate goes up, and they go in there to take them on, and they don't flip a coin, but Peggy takes the high card, the high road, and the other guys go lower into the castle, and they split, divide, and conquer. So that's where we see this gateway. Like, again, fast track. Red Skull has the Tesseract, hits the button, starts this gateway. I mean, they did develop it a little bit. He was looking at the wood carvings and kind of figured it out that there was something
waiting on the other side of the portal. Yeah.
He called it his
champion.
Champion. Thank you. That's in my notes somewhere. His champion from beyond the stars, I think he says.
Shout out to the Red Skull, right, for being such a numbskull. You know, the guy's a real. You know, he's a real. He really did. Like he was dancing
a little bit more. Yeah.
It's like, you know, this thing might be so big that it might snap me too. You know. And he was the first kill, like instant. As soon as that thing came through.
It's like Austin Powers. He's the Dr. Evil is just doing his little rant.
and in fact, that's probably the answer to your question, is that he'll be waiting there for the Death Stone. He'll be sitting there waiting, just, you know, for the Soul Stone. He'll just be sitting there. And he's probably, as soon as that thing snapped, he probably sitting there watching like, dang, I'm back again. Like I'm back.
I think they'll put him in there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they story arc this a little bit and keep some of those characters. So if we do see Valamor, what's the world?
Vormir.
If we see that, there is kind of a dead Red Skull. Kind of happened through a portal with this crazy entity tentacle beast.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, in the other MCU, he just kind of gets zapped with the Tesseract. And then you know, we know what happens, right? So I think that could still play out, because there seems to be a little destiny with things veering off and differences, but lots of similarities. All right, so what else about the tentacle scene? Carter gets attacked. They have a little discussion about Stark reversing the polarity, and she gets a sword off the castle wall, and that's a sword, and we're in this castle. And it looks good. She looks great with the sword and the shield. And
I would not be surprised if you could find her pose, but being done by Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere, if you looked at the movies and everything, I bet you could find that where she's got the shield and she's got the sword pointed to the ground. Yeah. She does her superhero landing. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, that's very Wonder Woman."
We'll meme it with
a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
We'll just make a meme and put Yelena next to it, saying, "You're just a poser." Such a poser. But man, they're like. Yeah, it was just really well done. So the Halloween Commandos find the Stomper and Steve and do the power generator thing, like we kind of talked about, and give them a little juice to help fight off this beast. And
get Steve out of here. He says, "No, get me in the machine. Give me back in the Stomper. He's ready for the fight again, right?" So Steve is down and out.
He's got to go help his girl.
Yep.
Skinny Steve helping out. Still gets the girl. but they have a separation similar to how they say goodbye in the MCU. They're fighting off the tentacle things. They get pretty far, but she decides she has to just walk and push this thing back through the portal. And they make a date for Saturday, and it's
Saturday never happens.
And yes.
So here's my question, right? She gets to the other side of the portal where she's, kind of like, she basically went to a time warp at this point. She did, the Mario Super Brothers, and and so she's on the other side of that time warp, and she's met with, what's my man, Hawkeye,
Hawkeye and Fury.
Yep, and Fury, right? And he tells her, "Hey, look, that happened like 7 years ago." And she's feeling. She made the same face that Steve made, right? Yep. Where does she go from here? Is she, because like there's only one Steve. And Steve took it a different way. Like he persevered through it. Now, can Peggy persevere?
And is Steve Rogers sitting somewhere in a bed at the age of 90 years old for her to go visit later?
She gonna go visit old man Steve sitting in a nursing home. I think it could happen. I think they could start. They're gonna skip around a little bit. So we basically covered the whole show. Thanks, Mel. The end of the show, they go. She comes through the portal. Hawkeye's there. I think Jeremy Renner came back for that too. We got Samuel L. Jackson and Jeremy Renner. And the Watcher closes it out saying, "We got a new history, a new hero." And tune in next week for. Yeah. I would like to see because I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't want to think too much about it and then get blasted down for just watching commercials and other leaks. But I am pretty sure that the next episode is Guardians of the Galaxy twist with T'Challa becoming Star-Lord.
T'Challa!
Well, that's another one because I was looking at the voice actors for that one, and of course they've got Michael Rooker, but they've also got the guy Chris Sullivan from This Is Us. He's the actor who did Taserface. Taserface.
Taserface is back.
It's metaphorical.
Nice.
I love that guy.
Yeah, they got to bring Taserface back. That's awesome. And the Yondu, his character is going to be back, voice, and that'll be funny. That one will be funny. So I'm pretty sure that's the next episode, just to give a taste of something to come. And I think that will be a standalone type of story, Mel, where you don't need to watch the first episode to see what's going on in the second episode.
Yeah. I think they'll jump around the universe for each episode instead of, telling a continuation story.
You're probably right, because we got some really weird stuff coming up. And I think their third one is about the Avengers dying or not becoming the Avengers or something. And then we get zombies somewhere in there. I can't wait. Marvel Zombies.
I'm really jonesing to see that one.
They better do, the comic was not that great, actually. It's just a really crazy concept that superhero abilities get carried over as you turn to a walker.
A bit of zombie walkers, huh? A little bit of walkers. Yeah. Interesting.
How are you doing on your build, Mel? I'm
on cutting through bag 3, the last bag. I'm trying to put these arms on.
I'm still in bag 1, but I'm finishing.
Hey, I brought some show and tell.
What do you got?
So this whole concept of what if,
yes,
I just love the idea so much, and I've actually at one point I was thinking about our real life human history, and I was thinking about these what if stories, and I was contemplating, and I was actually gonna write about this until I found out someone else already did it. And so this is a book called What If, and it is imagine what might have been, and it's a whole bunch of historians have put this together. So historians and philosophers of life have pondered the crucial turning points of history, events that forever altered the course of civilization and set the stage for the world in which we live today. In these essays, some of the most respected minds of our time ask the question, what if? So some of the examples, some of the stories are, what if Pontius Pilate hadn't ordered Jesus Christ's crucifixion? What if Abraham Lincoln hadn't abolished slavery? What if a Confederate aide hadn't accidentally lost General Robert E. Lee's plans for invading the North? What if the Allied invasion of D-Day had failed? And so anyway, and it goes on and on. But
what if JFK didn't get assassinated? Or something?
Oh yes, I mean so many different pivotal points in history, and it's just such a great concept. And I love that we're doing that. Is that all done, Mel?
No, almost. I got his other arm to go.
Nice.
I got to show off this part.
Mr. Tesseract.
We have a Tesseract. We have a Tesseract piece. It is a Minecraft square.
Oh, and it doesn't have studs on the top.
No studs on top.
Is it a regular brick height?
It has the tube receiver. Well, it's not brick. It's not a 2x2 shape. It's the Minecraft head shape.
Oh, that's cool.
So I don't know what the exact dimensions of that, whether it's 4 plates thick instead of 5.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Or 3? No, that would be a brick both ways.
I think it's about 4.
It's a little more than that.
Anyway. Curse you, Lego, making me buy sets just for a particular piece or a particular.
Right, they get you every time, man.
Every time.
That piece makes me think that I don't know that anybody's done it, and I don't know how you could properly do it, but make a life-size Tesseract cube with lights.
Ooh,
it's possible if you could 3D print it. You 3D print it.
Well, it would just be a bunch of transparent blue in some sort of shape, a square.
Right.
But it would have to have some sort of texture in that shaping to give it and then some proper lights. Yeah, maybe, I don't know if it would be too plain, or you need a print of some runes on it or something, I guess.
Maybe. Yeah. So with this T'Challa series, this next one's coming up, right? And they're telling the stories of Guardian Galaxy with him. What are you expecting to see?
What are we expecting to see?
Well, it seems like T'Challa is more like teamed up with Yondu. Maybe because, I mean, from what we see in the trailers, T'Challa is like he's off for adventure. He wasn't just abducted like Peter was.
Right.
No clue. But that kind of messes with the whole story behind Yondu was sent to Earth to get Ego's son.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how are they gonna address that? That's kind of my big question from the get-go. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be cool, but then it's like, okay, well then who becomes the Black Panther?
Yeah, or Star-Lord is still out there, half ego, half human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Peter Quill is still on Earth, and unless they want to make it so that T'Challa is half celestial, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna twist that. That doesn't seem proper. I mean, he can become Star-Lord without the ego powers.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to get that. They can't go that route, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
The big twist will be the fact that he's leaving Wakandans to fend on their own. So maybe Black Panther storyline also gets handed down to Shuri or something sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Here's me. I'm a little slow. No.
Gotta make the jetpacks in the back.
This looks cool though, and I got so Mel was shaming me for ordering online, and it still has not arrived. I bought this one separate at Target so that I could have a set to build.
He was holding. Let me tell you, Larry. He was holding. I'm like, dude, I got the set already. Are you?
It's coming. It's coming.
And then like the second one, I couldn't get the second one. I couldn't get this one. I couldn't get this one, and because it was out. And then I actually ended up going to one of my stores, and it was there. So I was like, hey, when I came in, and this was like the 7th. I'm like, bro, did you get yours yet? No. I'm like, bro, it's the 7th.
Mel wanted to do a building chat. Break it. We wanted to be the first ones to build it down the first week of August.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, what's up? Like, what's going on? Christmas only come around once, not twice a year. You know, like, come on, man.
They were so overloaded with orders that day that I didn't think it would be. It's starting like I basically during COVID, I've stopped going to the Lego store, and I think I gotta break that rule and start going back to get some of these day one releases.
Be safe. Be safe. Wear your mask.
But it is coming, and I was able to pick this up at Target. So I think, like you said, the other set is that one you have Sicarian Iron Man.
Yep.
That's more of I don't even know what to think of that storyline. What if?
Yeah.
Boy, because it's like Hulkbuster.
I mean, that's kind of easy to do because I think that somehow he'll switch places with Banner because remember Banner had zipped out there, so I think he'll switch his places with Banner and he gets sucked into however Banner got over. It really told you how he really got over there, though. But
I don't know. But when Tony Stark saved the Avengers, and went almost through that black hole portal, maybe it could be with those guys, the Chitauri. Instead of going to Chitauri, he could land off, have enough power to make it to Sicarian.
Right.
Somehow it gets sucked up by the devil's anus.
Who's not the Collector, but the Grand Master?
Grandmaster.
So maybe we'll see Grandmaster in that episode.
Cool. Nice rocket packs. So someone needs to put off some rocket smoke coming out of those and the one dude with the big Millennium Falcon and have him coming off the fighting some Hydra.
Yes, a lot of popcorn pieces.
I might have a Brickmania set that's the proper German plane.
A lot of popcorn pieces.
To have that air raid scene somehow.
I think I got a lot of popcorn pieces. I think I gave them up. I think I gave them to somebody.
I got a half a cup of popcorn pieces. Didn't get a full cup. I was like, that's a little excessive. Maybe a third of a cup.
Yeah, I think I got about that. And I use it a lot on my, like when I'm doing my Deadpool stuff, I'll have, like with rockets and missiles being launched, I'll use those. They're just so tricky to stick together because there's like zero clutch with those things if you're trying to stack them up.
Yeah, pretty much that's slightly illegal connection with the clutch power's not really there.
Let's put Steve Rogers in here. They got Steve Rogers looking like G.I. Joe.
Yeah. That guy.
It's hard to do a skinny Steve in minifig.
Yeah.
Well, we made our hour mark. We talked about what if. Mel builds set. I built half of it.
Oh, I'm gonna get her to stay on here, yo. That's a problem.
Does he not have the handlebars?
No. I'm a Lego master. I got it figured out already. Now there's no handle back here, dude.
Come on, Mel.
Yeah, there's no handle back here, dude.
Make it happen.
But I got one. I got one for you. Watch out. Check me out.
You gotta send us off before we
check me out. I'm gonna show you. Wait a minute, hold on. I got one for you. See right there.
Oh yeah.
Very nice.
Hey, Rocketeer vibes too with the
yeah, you know what? That's exactly what that was. Old school Rocketeer, you know?
Perfect.
The period, yep. And the
hey, look, Doc's here. Time to go, everyone.
What's up, Doc? What's up, Doc?
Doc, thanks for checking in. We are done spoiling the show. Mel built the full mech. I only got about halfway through the Hydra Stomper. He's got Captain Carter on top. So it's like Mel built a mock on the show. Well, what else? I'll probably.
So, what I would recommend for you, Jesse, for the next show, since we don't get no Guardians of the Galaxy and T'Challa, right? We don't get that set. So we'll build a set here. We will. And what we can do is I would recommend you to get 2 of these, friend, because you could build the mech on this side, but if you flip it, you can build.
So if I get that, there's 2 builds.
There's 2 builds, so I would get 2. I would get 2 of these. That way, you don't have to rip the mech apart to do the car.
Well, I'll jinx myself and go pick it up, and then the shipping will finally come through.
Well, you got one, right? Yeah, I'm saying you got one coming. You didn't buy 2, right?
No, I didn't buy 2.
Yesterday,
but I'm waiting for Bro Thor set, and
I got Bro Thor set when you're ready.
I haven't seen any of the new shows or Suicide Squad yet. Yeah, we're not going to spoil that. I did see Suicide Squad. It is definitely worth watching.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, it's it's not MCU level like amazement, but there's funny Deadpool humor. I mean, you're a Deadpool guy. That was riddled with Deadpool-ish kind of humor.
Well, I liked that it was. I mean, I appreciate that it was rated R. I mean, they got quite gory and okay.
A little ruthless. A little like, dang, they killed those guys.
Yeah.
And then just laughed it off. Like that didn't seem right.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that Nathan Fillion played one of the characters. I didn't realize that at all until I looked. I'm like, oh man, I love that guy. I'm a big Firefly fan. So
TDK, the detachable kid.
Yeah,
his arms come off like He-Man arms, and they just pluck off and like go at you and attack you. That was dumb humor like that. It's full of that, which is definitely highly entertaining. So check it out. Check that out. Stay tuned for more spoiler shows on this channel for Disney Plus types of things.
I am behind on Bad Batch. I have not seen the season finale of Bad Batch yet, so
I haven't seen it. Is it out already?
It's out. It was on.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to catch up. I was trying to. I think I'm like 12.
The last episode and the one before it are part 1, part 2 finale, if you will.
Okay.
It's good. I got an idea for a mock for that also.
Okay.
And I want to get back to the theaters too and see some of the stuff. But streaming service is great. Have you seen or do you plan to see Ryan Reynolds in?
Yeah, Free Guy. I really want to see Free Guy.
Free Guy.
Free Guy looks funny. Funny. I like Deadpool unmasked humor in a video game, kind of retro. I pulled up the soundtrack on Spotify, and it's full of Mariah Carey and TLC and SWV and all these old like female voice R&B kind of pop songs. It's like it doesn't end, like the whole soundtrack. So I'm wondering, like, wow, what is the deal with this bazooka girl that they take this adventure on? So Flex and Doc, all right, we are pretty much done today. Ivan, thanks for checking in. Doc, thanks for checking in. Thanks for covering the 72-hour stream. That was really cool to see the reviews in a short time. What a workaholic. Who else was in? Brett's Builds, and we had Southern Soul and Ivan. All right. Anyone else tuning in? Thanks for being here. And if you like this, leave a comment, give a like, give a sub. Follow these guys, Iceberg Bricks and Larry Legend, on YouTubes and Instagrams. And we will be talking more Lego and doing a challenge build on Iceberg Bricks tomorrow, Monday night. Monday night is versus Larry. Can you make it? You can't make it, right?
I can't.
Okay.
I start tennis lessons.
Okay.
Tomorrow night. My wife.
All right.
My wife signed us up for tennis lessons, so I'm gonna go.
I think we're working with Troy's schedule, and he said Monday or Tuesday, and then Mel said Tuesday, and I was like, Tuesday's Lego Masters. I don't know if we want to compete with that too much. We could, but I like Monday. And if it doesn't happen, we can always fall back to Tuesday, and Troy could still be there, and we might have some other guests, special guests to be announced. We have let me grab the set. Classic Lego 4-in-1 Lego Masters Walmart exclusive with the free bag. We're gonna basically build whatever out of this set, because it's just a bunch of sets, creator sets, but very interesting. A lot of different colors in there. That'll be very, very challenging, I think.
Good luck.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be very challenging. It will be. I promise.
I'm not going to say I'm sorry that I'm missing that.
That's gonna be nerve-wracking. It's gonna be it's gonna be a colorful build, man. I think I'm gonna just stay to the pieces, man, and whatever it looked like.
Yeah. I could try to do a colorblind build and just build the shapes and not worry about it. That might be one way to go. I haven't opened it. I haven't really brainstormed other than just ignore
Did we say
the color.
what we were building? We didn't even say what we were building, did we?
Huh?
I said we didn't even say what we were building.
No theme yet, huh?
No.
Well, I don't think you should have a theme. It's just use the pieces in this box and
just roll.
You're already limited there. I mean, I guess Larry did an alt build, rebuild, and had a theme on that space set into architecture landmark thing.
It had to be a landmark or monument. Yeah.
Monument. Yeah, like I guess. We'll see some people in the chat and discuss it with the panel tomorrow on Iceberg Bricks channel, the verses with Troy and me and some other special guests. Should be fun. We do 90 minutes of free building and see what happens. So tune in then. Till next time.
Next time.
Watch out for the Watcher.